Hello, and welcome to my second YouTube video of the day. This is my new channel. This is Rory Flower. Again, forgive me for the camera and the grainy quality. I assume with this really good laptop that the quality would be far better than it is. It's something I'm going to have to investigate because obviously it's needs to be improved. But anyway, I want to just talk a little bit about. And the last video we did, I talked about addiction, and I want to talk about an addiction that many people have all over the world, and it's probably the most common addiction that we have. And it's not, it's not the most harmful addiction that you could possibly have. It's not the most harmful addiction, which is why so many people, in a morning, participate in this addiction. And I'm talking about caffeine. And it's something that I probably for the past 3 years I've used probably too much, not as much as some people, but enough to know that I need to cut down on it. I probably started drinking coffee properly at the age of 26, which is probably 3 or 4 years ago now, and gradually I've developed quite an addiction to it. Over the past month, from January onwards, January the 1st, I've cut down on my caffeine addiction quite substantially. Last week I went 4 days out of the 7 days of that week without drinking any coffee or ingesting any caffeine into my system. And this week I've gone 3 of the 4 days. Well, I had a cup of coffee on Tuesday. I had a cappuccino at Pret a Manger in Manchester. But apart from that, I've had 3 of the 4 days without any caffeine. And it does make you wake up with more energy when you don't have any caffeine. But let's just see why caffeine is so addictive for a lot of people across the world. And I mean, I don't know a great deal about the science behind it. I know a little bit, and I know that it blocks adenosine, which is a hormone or chemical that causes sleepiness, basically. I was going to say sleeplessness, but no, sleepiness. It blocks those receptors in your brain. It also increases dopamine. Now, as we know with all addictions, chemical addictions or sexual addictions, human beings crave dopamine. We crave that. We crave it because dopamine, primitively in a survival mechanism. So it's basically a survival mechanism. Dopamine is an indication that you're surviving, that you are surviving. You're getting what you need. Dopamine is found when you eat food, when you eat certain foods, especially like white bread, anything sugary gives you a massive dopamine rush, anything like that. And it's also a painkiller. So it's almost like you're self-medicating. And as we know, any substance that kills pain, especially if you're a bit depressed or you wake up tired in the morning for work or whatever, and you feel a bit depressed, that caffeine, obviously it gives you a perk up, it makes you animated, it makes you more able to express yourself and gives you more ideas, and if short term it can make you more creative and treat depression in the short term. But the obvious thing is that dopamine that you've received, well, that your brain has, basically your brain already has that dopamine in it, but it will only release that dopamine when something has acted on it. I think it's an antagonist or an agonist. I can't remember which one it is. Those neurons will only fire when it's been acted upon, whether that's from a substance or it could be a behaviour like sex or something enjoyable like listening to music or whatever like that. But obviously that dopamine, that increase in dopamine means that there's going to be a net loss of dopamine once that effect has worn off. So that means that the caffeine addict needs another coffee to get them back up to that level. And obviously we all know that you develop a tolerance to it after a certain point. And as I say, it does have short-term benefits, and it can help with certain things. It can extend your life, or people say it does extend your life, and it does have benefits. It does have benefits. We can't lie about that. It's not, it's an enjoyable social thing as well to go and have a coffee somewhere with friends, and it's something to do if you don't want to, if you want to replace that with alcohol, because some people prefer the coffee, but it's not going to give you the same, kind of hangover, obviously, as alcohol does. But it does increase anxiety. It massively increases anxiety. It can do. It's going to get your heart going. It's going to get your heart rate a lot higher than it is. It's going to make you, especially when you're coming down from it, or you're having a crash. It makes your palms sweat. It makes you irritable. It makes you unable to think clearly. It gives you brain fog. All these things, and it can make you feel, obviously, in the morning, if you're constantly relying on a cup of coffee to get you going, you're going to feel pretty shit, aren't you? If you've not had one. So, but I've noticed the benefits of not drinking it every day myself. But anyway, that's me done for this video. Once I probably come back onto this topic again in a few months, or whenever I feel like talking about it again. And once I've found a bit more information about caffeine and coffee and things like that. But thank you for listening.